friend, do you really know the can of worms you just opened? Look, it is true that all direct fuel injected engines have some type of carbon buildup on the intake valves. It is an absolute fact, and it's okay. But remember, we are not comparing apples and oranges here. It's not like we're talking about that Equinox with two separate camshafts, one for intake, one for exhaust. Follow me on this. If you are looking at, pardon me, sir. If you are looking at camshaft design and you are looking at variations of it, okay? The point I need to make to you is that every single Corvette engine has one camshaft, okay? It opens the intake valve at the same time every time, and it opens the exhaust valve at the same time every time, okay? Now, the difference between that and that four-cylinder Equinox is because the valve overlap, which basically means the time the intake valve is open and the time the exhaust valve open, are fluctuating. So you get more overlap sometimes, you get less overlap sometimes. But in Corvette, here and here, now there's no adjustable valve cam timing on that 013, but it is what we call indexing the camshaft, either advancing or retarding, but that valve overlap stays fixed, so it doesn't change. You follow me? So, when the intake and exhaust valves are open at the same time, what happens? Unburned exhaust gas, because of the vacuum in the intake, some of it gets sucked up into the intake valve. And I know, I'm sorry, a lot of you have heard this spiel before, and I apologize. But what ends up happening is you're always going to get a little carbon condensation on that valve stem tip. You're always going to get it. No problem. I have yet to see one problem with drivability and that. Not one. And the people that try to sell you induction cleanings, I laugh at them. Here's the reason why. If you're going to fog a cleaner to the front of your engine, right? Okay. The intake, the airflow comes down, then it goes up and over into the opposite cylinders. Okay? So now, if I've got airflow going down and then coming up and over, what is the chance that that cleaner is going to get all the way the hell down there, up, over, and down in an atomized form? Virtually nothing. That's where I have a problem with this. I have a problem with people selling services that make no physical sense whatsoever to me if you knew the design of the engine. You follow me? So all the cleaner is going to pull up down here, and then when you take a hard turn, all of it comes sliding over the top, then you hydrolock your engine. Don't laugh, I've seen it once. So, unless you've got a check engine light, I'm not sold on it. There's two things that you can do to really keep carbon deposits to a minimum. Number one, high quality synthetic engine oil. Mobil 1 is what we use here at the dealership. 019, obviously, you know, carries the 0W40. Before that, we use a 5W30. But the second part is top tier fuels. Follow my thought process on this. Carbon is developed when it is not fully burnt, right? You follow me to that point? Then, if you go in and you have an injector that's not firing cleanly, and it's not atomizing that fuel enough, does it burn completely? No, not really, does it? You're going to get droplets in there, and it's going to carbon up, and it'll shoot the carbon. That carbon will therefore, over time, put more carbon on your intake valve if your fuel injectors are not clean. You follow me? So, top tier fuels, you've all heard me talk about it time and time again, toptiergas.com. If you don't, and you haven't heard of this before, very, very important. And a good quality engine oil. You do those two things, the chances of having a carbon-induced drivability problem, slim to none. Very slim to none. Fair enough, sir?
Thank you. That was wonderful.
Okay.